staying tuned. I will appreciate you waiting patiently to get to know what we need to talk about. I've said it before, the Sri Lankan bombing and its consequences, so to speak, or the impact on that country's nationality. With being here in the studio to do justice to this discourse, I have a one-time journalist, one-time youth president, yes, Edo State of Bender State on Midwestern region, if you want to call it, an entrepreneur, a politician, public affairs commentator. Join me, welcome, Honorable Agarase Idubo. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you,
of course, I mean, just like you've been here for up to 1 hour before this program. You know, punctuality, they say, is the soul of business. Thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Thank you.
I appreciate your comment.
Thank you.
And of course, sitting very close to him is a legal practitioner. When we talk about international affairs, this man is well grounded. When we talk about local affairs also, he has in-depth analysis, but I keep on wondering, Osaho, Barrister Osaho, why don't you want to talk about Nigerian politics? I keep asking you that question. And he's still smiling, but all the same, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, it's all about Sri Lanka. Yes, there were bomb blasts here and there. Easter hotel, churches, over 250 souls were lost. And of course, there was a raid of recent, 2 or a day ago, because we want to apprehend those people involved, and 15 persons or more lost their lives in that way because someone chose to detonate. 3 of them representatives choose to go suicidal, and many persons also lost their lives. And they were supposed to celebrate the 10 years anniversary of nationhood after the war. Let me start off from you, Honorable. How do you perceive this? Is terrorism really winning? Global terrorism, because we've heard about the case of terrorists here and there. It's like it's having a very strong foothold when you take a look at the world in general.
Yeah, one thing that is interesting about the Sri Lanka experience is not a question of whether they are winning. It's a question of whether some persons are ready to make them not to win. Because in any situation, there are intelligence reports. So they can only win if somebody is not showing the kind of interest they should show in the matter. Take the Sri Lanka experience, for instance. I mean, series of warnings. This thing will happen. This thing will happen. 3 independent persons or groups gave different warnings, saying the same thing. And if some persons just didn't show the kind of interest they should show, then of course. So terrorists are always trying to win, but they can only win when some people show some ineptitude. So for me, yes, it's like saying armed robbery is winning. Armed robbery could win, yes, but if people are also trying to, be careful about a few things, the armed robbers will come and they will not succeed. So terrorists are always planning how to unleash terror. But if you are proactive, you can be able to, so to speak, stop their actions. The Sri Lanka experience, from what we have kept on reading, is that 12 days, 10 days, 2 days to the attack. 12 days, 10 days, 2 days to the attack. Security reports were, indicating that we're going to strike. And they struck. So it means some persons were not proactive. And to that extent, yes, terrorism is succeeding because some persons are not proactive. That's why, that's the point. It's not as if they're succeeding. Yes, they're succeeding because some persons, because there's no attack that security reports have not, so to speak, radials have been monitoring some persons, even the one in the UK. After the attack, they said, we didn't know it was going to be here, but we knew it was going to happen. But where it was going to happen, we didn't know. Then you should have gone on a trail with the persons. So where they want to go, you may not know, but follow them. The UK attack, you saw the terrorists were being trailed. At the point they lost radial of them, and they struck. So you just keep a close mark, be marking them. So basically, they can only succeed to the extent that people are, not proactive.
That people are not proactive, that's why they can succeed to an extent, not because they are having a kind of a foothold globally. All right, now still on the Sri Lanka experience, or what you rightly talked about, signals were given Even in the case of 9/11 also, we heard that signals and warnings were given that this is going to happen. But the problem now is where and when is it going to happen? From what is said, the security architecture in Sri Lanka, they were not proactive. Is this a case of being proactive or a case of being dormant or nonchalant in the job they ought to do, which is the protection of lives and property?
Thank you very much, Vincent. On several occasions, I have heard about security breaches. I have heard about people who were supposed to know, not knowing, and if the information happened to be dropped on their laps, not to act timelessly on it. And this case in Sri Lanka is the first one I have seen. I have never seen such glaring security lapses, such lack of information coordination, such lack of follow-up as far as intelligence gathering is concerned. My colleague here spoke about, he was talking about the April 4th and the April 11th briefing they got from the Indian government and even from the CIA. But what is even more bewildering is that some few hours, 2 hours before the attack, the Indian government again, Indian intelligence body, they told them, look, you are about to be hit. And they went as far to name names and then to even tell them, give them figures, that about 15 persons, about 11, and these are the persons. So one begin to wonder...
And give their locations.
Locations. One begin to wonder what happened in Sri Lanka, why they did not act, all you needed to do, that was why immediately after it was done, after the damage was done, you see them going to, in few minutes, going to places and bombs blowing up everywhere and getting some of those guys. They already knew them. They have been severally told, maybe they underestimated their capabilities. Because before now, those guys, the worst they have ever done is to go and maybe just go to some Buddhist site and mess the place up. That's the worst they have ever done before that fateful Easter day. And they underestimated that what can they do? This is that will go to the shrine and maybe pour paint upon the goddess and the god there. This is the worst they can do. I think so. But they never saw the new dimension to it. And what happened that Easter Sunday morning shook the whole of Sri Lanka and indeed the whole of the rest of the world. Because those guys were underestimated. This is something that even ISIS have not been able to put at. Those coordinated bomb attacks, about 6 or 7 in several places, and they all went well and everything went as planned. Even ISIS and Al-Qaeda in 8 days was never able to do such successful bombing. They grew over time, but this is a little known, a local group, a local Islamic group, that they were able to do what they did, shock the security apparatus in Sri Lanka. But then, they cannot say they didn't see it coming. The information was dropped red hot, so to speak, on their laps. Targets were named, names were given, locations were pointed at. So all they needed to do was to act upon it. Kind of the president keeps saying that he never got those information on his desk. He would have acted. And the security chief said, yes, we got it, but we are not good excuses. And I think it is a monumental failure that those lives, over 250 lives that have been lost, were just lost for nothing. If the security apparatus have worked as they should have worked, we will not be here.
All right, if they worked the way they should have worked, we would not have gotten such a horrendous amount of persons losing their lives. I'd like to appeal to please roll the clips over us so that I can get to appreciate what we are really talking about, the Sri Lanka experience. Now, he talked about the Sri Lanka security outfit underestimating the power of the terrorists. We want to share the same view with him, or you differ from him?
I don't think it was a case of underestimation. The National Intelligence Director told the police chief that there is this security issue which was addressed. I'm sure it was the business of the police to protect these environments. He just said, my friend, there is this information. There is likely to be an attack. The police chief took the information. He could not process it. I mean, you should process the information and think, I mean, you should distill it, process it, take it through because it's not a market square discussion. Security issues are not, they're not market square discussions. So he called those who are supposed to know. And from what we now know, Mr. President says he's not aware. The Prime Minister is not aware, but I like the Prime Minister. I like the Prime Minister. Yes, fine. It's not, according to him, he wasn't aware, but he's said to everybody, please, it's our fault. We apologize for what has happened. We will make sure it doesn't happen again. But this happening again, how much of the architecture are going to be put in place? If you've lost close to, figures are not even clear now. Some say it's 350, some say it's 250, 253, they're still counting. Even 15 also died even yesterday or the day before yesterday, and they're still counting. But having said that, I think it was a needless loss. Because if they did what they should do, and you see, at times you don't have information, fine, but this one you had information. And every person that should have processed the information should have been put, on guard to ensure there is nothing that can be better than somebody telling you, Agarese Iduboy is coming to attack you, Agarese lives in Eguanahe in Uselu, Agarese is one inch tall, and Agarese will go from Uselu to Oluku, and you know those details. And Agarese can just walk to Oluku and still do. So very honestly, it's not only now, it's an opener to the whole world actually, because now every country should now understand that you must have a system to process information in a manner that you will not be caught napping. The Benima will say, if you see a stone coming, if the stone that you see coming should not blind your eyes. So if the stone is coming and you've seen the stone and it still comes to blind your eyes, then you must be very stupid. So this one, they told them there will be an attack. So you be careful and be mindful, protect installations, and you down guards and you down your tools. The Catholic bishop was very, very sorry. He said, if they told us, we wouldn't have had the service on Sunday. If we do. So the man was just clear. If they gave us this info, this hit, then we would not have put the lives of people in danger. So very honestly, you were told that they're going to strike on such and such a date. And that date was very important to Christians. And those three churches cumulatively lost 115 people. And 100 from the hotels. So how can somebody go to the hotel, Easter celebration, to go and relax or enjoy, and only to be found dead? So very honestly, a lot of things, it's an eye-opener to the entire country, the entire world, that when you have an intelligence gathering team, you must to respect their information enough to treat, you must treat the information. Otherwise, if you don't treat, then you'll be caught napping and you would have yourself to be blamed. Because if these people who have been killed now, amongst them were 25 children, very innocent children, you never can tell what they will become in the future. Now you have truncated a small generation. So very honestly, Sri Lanka is a very small country. It's not a big country that you will say everybody is everywhere. And the head of state of Sri Lanka is also the Minister of Defense. So if you are Minister of Defense, I mean, you oversee the Defense Ministry. So everything is on your lap.
Wow.
So if you are head of state, yes, but you also oversee the defense. So if you oversee defense, then what kind of defense are you overseeing? So these are issues that I think we must start to look at.
All right.
The man has said he's not aware. He's not even saying sorry to anybody.
Then he's not aware.
He says he's not aware, so, whether he's deaf and dumb, he cannot even see. He says he's not aware, and he's blaming everybody for anybody will just, like the Prime Minister did. I mean, for me, it could be, I may be wrong, but the man came up to say, okay, sorry, Jerome, yes, it has happened. Yeah, we didn't know, but we take responsibility for this. We apologize to our country. let's move forward. We'll ensure that it won't happen again.
All right. Now, you talked about their inability to process the information, to interpret the information. You hinted on, is it nonchalant attitude, or they underestimated the power of the attack? There are some group of persons that choose to have this belief that is because the security architecture is sympathetic to these so-called terrorists. That was the reason why they treated the information with levity. How true is that?
I will attempt to talk about that. But before then, there's this Latin phrase that says prompter hoc ergo prompter hoc. Or something like that. I don't know if I get that. It's just to say that after the event, we now give a reason why they happened. But almost always, invariably, it's always after it has happened. But in this case, it was something that could have been nipped in the bud. It was an event that could have been stopped. Something, if people who were supposed to do their work, if they have done their duty as supposed, then we will not even be here talking about Sri Lanka. It will be a different thing. It is so elementary, so basic, that they failed to do what they should have done, what they went to school to do, what they have been trained to do. For God's sake, this is intelligence gathering, information gathering. We know Israel, for example, what it means to the state of Israel. If such a thing has happened in Israel, or if such a thing could ever happen in Israel, then the nation will cease to exist. So they take their security, they take their intelligence seriously. So, but in Sri Lanka now, they not allow the event to happen. And that's why we have the issue that is going on here. That we have over almost 300 persons dead because people who were supposed to do something failed to do what they were supposed to do. So that is the issue we have now. But then, like I said before, the NTJ, the National Tawhid and Jamaat, before now was a group that was little known, a little splinter group in an obscure part of the world that have never been known to be able to pull out. In fact, before today, they have never slapped anybody, so to speak. So you must understand where the underrating must have come from. They have never stabbed anybody, so to speak. Before now, all they have done is to go to some Buddhist mosque and shrine and circulate the whole place and throw water and just do something. That's before now. That's all they have done. So when this information is them, that something massive is being planned, over and over and over again, it kept coming. That these people are planning such thing on such a Christian day as Easter. That they want to do something that will shook not only the whole of Sri Lanka, but that we affect the whole of South Asia and possibly the rest of the world. They slept on it. They just couldn't fathom it. How could these guys that have never even stabbed somebody, how can they pull this out? They forgot the ISIS connection. Of course, ISIS is not claiming that those guys were working for them. Of course, do you know that in Sri Lanka, they fought almost about 3-decade war with Tamil Tigers? And those guys were one of the first persons to use suicide as a kind of warfare. So for a very long time, even the Tigers, as big as the Tamil Tiger was with their institutions and their organization, they could not pull out a successful bomb blast that was effective for a very long, for almost 10 years. But these guys, in a few years, have perfected the act of suicide bombing, the art of bomb making and bomb detonation. So they never thought those guys have been schooled and so well schooled. And also tell you, these persons were not just riffraffs, so to speak. They were well-educated Sri Lankans. Some have even gone and they are studying in the UK and in the US. They were not hungry persons. They know what they were doing. And there was even one undergraduate who's also currently studying somewhere in the UK now. So they learned very fast. And on that day, they took everybody by surprise. But then that is not the blame must be placed. The president, Seresina, seems not to be doing his job and also seems not to have done his job well. And after the event, he's not even trying to make people comfortable or happy or to give a possible explanation. Of course, if like what he's saying, that he never got to know anything, that nobody took anything to his desk and he's so angry that the security chiefs failed him, that they didn't tell him anything. Of course, by now, S should be rolling. By now, something drastic should have been done. But before today, there was this infighting between the president and the prime minister. Maybe that also has its way, and it crept into the old things that even to take responsibility for what has happened has become a problem now. But given that, I think there is a serious security breach, a monumental failure on intelligence community in Sri Lanka that they couldn't process. It's the information, it's intelligence gathering that is difficult. For you to be able to get those information that all those jihadists or any terrorist group that are planning something is very difficult. Now, you didn't get it. Someone got it for you and brought it to your table and dropped it, say, look, this is it. Gave you names, gave you locations, gave you timing, everything you need to work, and you couldn't work. I've not seen something like that.
Yeah.
It's quite baffling.
All right, and the question is still hanging.
What's the question?
Are they sympathetic to this group? That is what a school of thought is like, coming up with that idea. They gave you time, the period. They gave you locations. They gave you name.
Okay, fine.
And nothing is being done about it. And now the president, like what you rightly said, is not showing remorse. Are they sympathetic to this group?
The president has asked them to resign. It's asked security chiefs to resign.
Okay.
But that to me is not enough. I don't know if they are sympathetic to the cause of the terrorists.
They couldn't.
I don't know if they are, but there's even no information to even show that they even acted on the information. Not even saying that they thought that they would not be as dastardly as they became. There's no information. Okay, I didn't read anywhere where they said, okay, fine, okay, we got this information about we underestimated these people. But you see, all we keep hearing is that, oh, fine, we didn't get information. The head of state has asked the chiefs to resign. So they should resign. Yeah, if I said they should resign by 12 o'clock today. They should all resign and go. But I haven't said all of that. Sri Lanka is not a very big country. Not even by population, even by size. So it's not too big, to have fought the kind of war they fought for 30 years. I mean, it's too small a country to fight for 30 years. How can you fight a war for 30 years? It's a small country. And even after the war stopped in 2009, there has not been peace in Sri Lanka. It's not as if it has been peaceful in the last 10 years. I mean, like you just mentioned, the prime minister, the president, yes, at war. They've been doing that for close to 3-4 years, and it's not a very good signal. The Sri Lankans now don't even trust government to provide security. Now they believe those going to mosque now, like what I read somewhere. If they are going to mosque now, they provide their own private security. So if they are going to church, you provide your own security. If you are going to school, you provide your own security. So then where's the country? So very honestly, I'm of the opinion that when you have a leadership bereft of direction, then of course you ask yourself, what kind of leadership is this? Because if the citizens cannot even trust you anymore, I mean, then it becomes a situation whereby there's no country. And if the military chooses to fight, like they do in some countries, that you say, oh, they are not doing what is right. At times, even though I'm not, a man who believes that there should be a military intervention anywhere, but at times it could be one language that people understand. When you find people who don't behave well, they have information. The national intelligence officer said he could not act, so he passed on the message to the arm of government that should act. Yeah. And that one also believed that, yes, I have this information. Maybe he also thought that he had told the head of state, who is commander-in-chief, to give him instruction. So waiting for instruction to come, then they struck. So having said all of this, I don't know if they are sympathetic, but if they are, too bad. But I don't also think they are, because the way the thing came, it doesn't show that they are sympathetic. I think they are just bereft of security ideas, because they are, even for a layman like me, you say to me, Wilson's coming to my house to fight me, and they're going to come by 10 a.m. Then I will go and wait for him to come. And then when he comes, I don't have anything to fight Wilson. And we will just come and overrun me in my house. There's something wrong with that. So basically, I think it, for me, as I keep saying, it's a lesson to the general world, to everybody, that please, security issues should not be handled with kid gloves. Once you have a security information, any security matter, no matter how small it is, you must process it and ensure that you nip on the board so that it doesn't come to now blame you, but I told you. So very honestly, those who are in charge of security anywhere must ensure that security matters are handled in a manner that will give credence to the ability of the handlers.
Giving credence to the ability of the handlers. Now, whenever something like this happens, there's this fear of reprisal or attack. Do you see it happening in Sri Lanka, Barrister?
Yes, even this attack itself is a response to what happened in Christchurch, New Zealand, according to some sources. And now talking domestically inside of Sri Lanka itself, we read this morning that about 1,000 Muslims, they have fled their homes, they're not in barracks, some in police stations, they're not taking shelter because they are afraid of what, not reprisal from the Christian, but mainly from the Buddhist. Because Sri Lanka is over 70% a Buddhist nation. And we just have about 9.7% Muslim and about 7.4% Christian. So both the Christians and the Muslims are in the far minority in Sri Lanka. But given that, before today, we have had incidences of skirmishes between the Buddhists and the Muslims. Around this kind of time last year, there was when some Buddhist adherents, they went to town smashing Muslim businesses and smashing mosques and making things uncomfortable for the Muslims. The issue before today has always been between the Buddhists and the Muslims. The Christians they have been so quiet, been so docile, so to speak, just doing their thing. But that's why it also came as a surprise to so many persons that they were singled out for attacks inside Sri Lanka. Having said that, but as we speak, there is serious issues of repercussion. Muslim kids going to school are being beaten with big long sticks as we speak by Buddhists, they are not even by the Christians now, and they are being prevented from going to schools, going to mosques, and they are quite afraid. But these things are to be expected. If you beat a child, you cannot at the same time tell the child not to cry. They should know they are tough. They should know that they are playing in an unfamiliar terrain. That Sri Lanka is not Tehran or Islamabad. And those guys, you know, those Buddhist fanatics, they are also extremists on their own. They are also extremists on their own. So they are really taking a fight to the Muslims inside Sri Lanka, which is also quite unfortunate, because if you like it or not, the persons who did this dastardly act, the cowards, they don't speak for the majority of the Muslims in Sri Lanka. Neither do ISIS speak for the majority of Muslims in the world. These are fringe organizations who have a demonic vision of what the world should be. Their vision, according to former President George Bush, is not to make money unlike the mafia, but to remake the world. So they want to remake the world in their own image. They have a vision of the world that they want to impose on the rest of humanity, and these people are just few. They do not speak, like I said earlier, for the majority of the Muslims. Such also is also happening today in Sri Lanka. Those guys, ever since for about a week now, they have not gone to school. And the Muslims, they have not gone to mosques. They are really afraid, and they are afraid not for what the Christians are doing, like I said, but what those Buddhist fanatics can do to them. And those guys are quite angry that they have dragged their nation into the spotlight of the world, bringing them into news everywhere for the very wrong reasons. That they are giving the opportunity, they want to drive them to somewhere in Islamabad.
All right, give the opportunity, they want to drive them to somewhere in Islamabad because of what a group of persons just sat down, hatched, and executed. Is this the beginning of the end of the 10-year peace enjoyed by Sri Lankans?
Yeah, I was careful about this 10-year peace. They never really enjoyed peace, although there was no more war.
Yeah.
Peace is not just the absence of war. I don't know if you know what, it's not just the absence of war. That country, yes, okay, 10 years of no war. not of peace now. You know, they were going to celebrate that, you know, and as they were planning to do that, now they have been dragged backwards.
Right.
So the Buddhists are, they're more vicious. They are more vicious than these terrorists. And I don't know if you also read, they have closed half of the shops owned by Muslims. Closed all the shops. And they have put stickers. Don't open the shop.
Is that the Buddhists doing
Yes,
this?
don't open the shop. So basically, there will be a reprisal. Definitely yes. Not as if they hit the Buddhist centers. But, like he said, you have brought our country into the limelight for the wrong reason. For the wrong reason. Now it has further brought to the fore the sharp disagreement between the two leadership by the president, leadership by the prime minister.
Prime Minister.
Now they are, even though they sat together yesterday, are here for the first time in 3 months. Sat together to discuss Sri Lanka. To discuss Sri Lanka. But very basically, I just believe that these two gentlemen, they must come together to save Sri Lanka. They must come together because they cannot continue. The prime minister has a set of persons who are supporting him. The president has a set of persons who are supporting him. And these are two strong persons. Strong by way of position, strong in character. And if you put their strength together individually, they can cause trouble. So they should harness, bring them together and save Sri Lanka. Having said all of this, let me say this to you. Now the president is, according to him, he wants to do a house-to-house search of everybody in Sri Lanka. So that suggests to me, or to us, that it's not ended yet. And in an attempt to do this house-to-house search, it will find some things that could offend some people, and they'll strike. Now you said you don't want to see women wearing their long dresses, whatever.
Covering their faces and the rest of that.
That's fine. Like you mentioned, the Muslims are less than 10% of the population of Sri Lanka, and the women are not the women who wear are not too many. Are not too many. So it's a very provocative decision. That's not the matter. That's not the matter. That's not the matter. Now you want to do a system that will further make people get angry. For me, this has happened. Oh, fine. Then you must go back to the drawing board. Call the security chiefs. Wilson is coming to attack again. Oh. What should we do? What should we do? I gotta say, be careful. But if you don't sit down now, there could be another attack. Because you see, these terrorists, they don't relent. They don't relent. They still now they have gone into hiding, but not as if they have decided to run away. They could go into hiding, be re-strategizing, and all with a view to unleashing another mayhem. So it is important now, or very instructive, in their own self-interest, to come together as Prime Minister and President, bring on security chiefs. If you want to sack them, sack them. If you want to, so to speak, punish them, punish them. If you think they want to leave them, leave them. But now you must get everybody to be on the same page so that you can save your country. Sri Lanka for now, it's a good country.
Yeah.
It's a good country, a very good country. You know, beautiful country that was ravaged by war. They made it look stupid. It's a very fine country. I've been there once or twice. And it's a very beautiful country. But if you find a country that is beautiful, ravaged by 28 years of war, it can't be the same again. Benin will say, Okoemo say. And because there is no way you fight a war for so long and you'll be the same again, now they might have another situation. This could be worse than fighting a war. If you now come with a terrorist situation in a country that is, so to speak, trying to gather pieces together to start to think about peace, then you are not taking them back. So for me, I want to wish Sri Lanka well, but I only believe that the leadership must know how to process information.
All right. They should know how to process information. I'm talking about information processing. Now, they did something. Before I'm telling the women not to cover their faces, or anyone shouldn't cover their faces for security reasons, they choose to go from house to house. You said that, which is very, very correct. But in the process, loss of lives also was recorded in the process. Then they got to meet with resistance, suicide bombers. 3 of them detonated bombs, and children were even affected. They were amongst the casualties. This house-to-house search, will this process, will it be able to really make them get these persons that are directly involved, or like what happened 2 days ago, innocent people or innocent persons also may be casualties? What do you think about that?
Yes, we'll talk about that. But let me quickly say something as a repertoire to what you just said about Sri Lanka. I'm so glad you have been there. It's like twice. It's quite a beautiful place from what I read. In fact, the name Sri Lanka is from the Sinhala language. That's the majority people did. It's the Sinhala. It means resplendent island. The place, so it's a naturally beautiful place. It's a resplendent island. Now you talk about innocent persons. I don't know if you are talking about Jafaran Hashim, the leader and the founder of the NJT, his father and 2 of his brothers who blew themselves along with all their families when those security men came there. The word innocent now should be in quotes, because they chose to die. They knew they were coming for them, and before then they were prepared that anytime they knock at the door, we all die. So that what happened. About 15 persons, their wives and all their kids. I don't know if they talked about, they asked the children, do you want to die? I don't know. If they sought their consent. Their consent before you can't make,
because these are children.
They are children. If you want to kill yourself and go to paradise, well and fine. But did you have that 6 years, that 3 years, if he or she also want to go to paradise with you? So that's the issue. That's one of those things that bothers me about Islamic fundamentalism. And these persons that have this vision that they want to impose on the rest of the majority of Muslims who are peace-loving. You must understand the divide that they face. That look now, you have done something bad, and the rest of the Muslim society in Sri Lanka has to suffer for it. So these persons made their choice. So if the president said they want to go from house to house to ensure that those bombs, they have been stockpiling these bombs and these explosive devices for so long, and they chose not to see it. They chose to look down on those persons that what can these guys do? So if now you suddenly wake up from your sleep, you want to go from house to house, that well and fine. Again, when he said something about abandoning, I think they call it the niqab and the hijab and the rest things, the president was also very diplomatic. He didn't make sure any religion or anybody said, what he just said, that he wants to see your face. That he wants to be able to see the face of each and every Sri Lankan. So, and by interpretation, if you used to cover your face, you are no longer allowed to cover your face.
But that's the hijab we're talking about.
It has become a security threat. If your face is not seen. It might be a man dressed otherwise. You might be concealing so many things inside. So you just want to see your face. That's for that. But then again, Sri Lanka is a place that has not been known for Islamic fundamentalism before now.
Sure.
No one has heard about Sri Lanka. Has never made the news for such things. Even the founder of the NJT, NTJ, is a cleric, and he has been for about 2 years now. He has become radicalized, saying something that something has to happen. Even after the Christchurch bombing, he said that we have to do something, that Christian blood also has to flow as a kind of propitiation for what happened in New Zealand. So when he said that, what did the security agency do? They did nothing. They just kept waiting for it to happen, so that after the event, they now start scampering around. It's so unfortunate. But then, I think the time has come for both the president and prime minister of Sri Lanka to come together, to settle their differences and to realize that the bottle has been left at, that the fly is not out of the bottle, that something has to be done about it now. They have been emboldened. If Hashim and his gang can pull out something so sophisticated and so nice, nice in quote now, it might inspire others. This thing also gives, you are giving the next person guts. You are telling them that this thing is doable. We can also do it. That if they give you a blow, you can return with 2 blows. I think that what will happen in Sri Lanka, but I just hope and pray that they will reconcile for the good of Sri Lanka.
Wow, hope and pray that there will be reconciliation for the good of the Sri Lankans. Now they're planning to celebrate 10 years of peace. Okay, according to you, 10 years without war, because they say that word peace is relative. Do you think that it will be as planned, or they will just shave it for fear of another attack?
No, I think they're going to celebrate it. You see, now, I still find it difficult to believe that the national intelligence officer did not speak with Mr. President. He didn't speak with Mr. President.
Yeah.
So if he spoke with Mr. President, I think Mr. President maybe will not be saying he didn't hear. Or if they didn't speak to Mr. President, then that to me is a very serious breach. But having said that, now Mr. President is saying no more. No more in the sense that now we must fight terrorism. So for him, they will go ahead with their celebration. They have invited a few world leaders that will come. It's even good now. They will have more reason to now preach the kind of message they want to preach. Now they have fixed the date. Celebrations will go on, but they will now try to beef up security. All with a view to ensuring that they are proactive. There will be no more. There will be no. It's not reprisal now. There will not be another attack. Another attack.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up. We're getting signal from the PD that we should call it a wrap on this show. I really appreciate your wonderful analysis. Let's see how the Sri Lankans, how they're going to celebrate our 10 years of not peace now without war. So peace is relative, but the thing is that a terrorist attack in a place somewhere is a terrorist attack everywhere. We are here right now in Nigeria. If you see something, say something, do something. When I mean do something, don't go by yourself. Just go report to the police. All right? You talked about information procession. They talked about also do not underestimate any form of threat that comes to you in form of an information. Take it seriously. Well, that's it on today's show. Thank you so much for being a part of it. See you next week, God willing. Bye for now.